Today I wanted to bring you up to date on a process that we really began this last summer, looking at the future of the school. And that was done in conjunction with a 5-year reappointment of me as dean, and kind of really thinking about where we were going. And I want to thank you for your thoughts, your contributions, your suggestions, your criticisms, all the stuff that you brought to us as a community, really kind of thinking about what the future was. And so this will briefly go through a little bit of a discussion on the programs, some 5 points and 4 elements we're really going to look at very carefully. And we're going to end finally with a discussion about the tipping point, which was such a vibrant part of some of the discussions we've held, not only in July, but since then, and kind of really looking at what changes this world we're in. So I want to start by thinking about kind of what is the future. And I'm going to rely on a quote by Peter Drucker that I find very instructive here, and as if to really predict the future, we must create it. It's not going to come to us. We must create our own way. I want to begin with our portfolio programs, the programs that are not the MBA, but there are other programs that are very, very important to the school, and I think in many ways are part of the important future of where we're going in the school, because it's where I think the educational community and world are going, and I'll explain why in a second. I'm going to start with the oldest of our programs, the Executive MBA. We've really changed that program from perhaps when you were here, perhaps when you had contact with it, or maybe were a student in that program, because it's now really centered around individuals who are either in the C-suite or about to take the important step in their life as they go into a C-level job, and really thinking about the attributes and the tools and the issues and the problems they kind of face both domestically and internationally. And so that program has really changed. It's a great program. I give great kudos to the leadership, Tammy Fassinger, her team, for what's happened there, but principally also our faculty who teach in that and engage our students in that area. It's a critical piece. Right now, under design, we have a new Americas program, which is really kind of thinking about doing business across the Americas as many major corporations around the world organize their management in large geographic segments. When I was a CEO running a company, the international company I was part of ran and organized themselves in that same fashion. So we're pretty excited about that. You should see that launch next fall or not too long after that. The next program I want to talk about is the Masters of Finance program. That program has really gained traction. I'm really excited about where it's going under the leadership of Kate Bearclaw. Our finance faculty has really gotten engaged, and we're finding a commitment to our students and the curriculum they go through. We put a internship on the front end of that program, thanks to a suggestion from Bruce Heyman and others, and we built out 10 companies, both in the financial services and other industrial markets, who are going to take our students and give them an experience before they get to Owen, before they start to the program, and we'll give the companies also a look at the quality of the student we're attracting, which is quite high. And so I think that's going to be a great program and a great opportunity to grow that program a little bit in the future. Our Masters of Management of Healthcare is part of our healthcare portfolio. It's part of the healthcare vertical. It's for individuals who've been out 19 years. It's a Masters of Management of Healthcare. It's not an MBA. It's a 1-year program, and it's really giving very accomplished scientists and doctors and clinicians and others an opportunity to do a deep dive in saying, let's bring management science, let's bring the ideas that we look at every day in business into the healthcare world, which it so desperately needs. And for many of these people, it's their 3rd, 4th, or 5th degree. So it's a great program, and we've expanded it from just Nashville, just Vanderbilt, out into a much larger geographic community, and we'll continue to do that. The other element other program I would point to is the Masters of Accountancy. This program is one of perhaps 60 in North America. It is a program that has gained great traction. It's really enhanced the Vanderbilt brand. Carl Hackenbrack and others have helped so strongly in building that program into a way that is in high demand. It's a pull market. The students that participate in this program typically get 2 and 3 job offers each from the big 5 accounting firms, including Grant Thornton. And they're thinking new and imaginative ideas about how this profession is going to proceed. So under design right now, at the behest of the Big Five, is an evaluation program, evaluation of asset program, and that's being really driven by the fair value accounting process that we're seeing being adopted in North America, certainly the SEC rules, and if IRS is adopted, we'll see that even more enhanced. So we're building that out, and we'll expect that to launch hopefully in the next year. Those programs, the EMBA, what becomes the American MBA, America's EMBA, the Masters of Finance, Masters of Accounting, Masters of Management Healthcare, all those programs add great value. They expand our portfolio, just as you have a portfolio of products or services or geographies or where you go to market. That's what we're doing. And it's also helped smooth out, if you would, the economic variations and fluctuations that go on inside the world of graduate business because of the veritability of the applicant flow. I think their value is really going to hold forth very strongly in the next couple of years as we watch, I think, a slow build out of the U.S. economy and North American economy. We're in a pretty difficult place right now, and we see other parts of the world really booming. And the ability to attract individuals to those programs, the ability to grow those programs and make those part of the really significant brand is really important. I want to turn next to the MBA program. It is the 800-pound gorilla. It is the big program. It is in a very mature market. I just met with the deans at Duke and Rice and Washington University and Emory and a number of noted private schools who find themselves in our exact place. They rank variously from about 8 up to about 30 in the overall rankings and the various rankings we see. And we all see as private universities kind of the same issues going forward, and we're approaching those a little bit differently. Part of that conversation was how we might change what we do, how this market is changing, and how North American universities are going to address this issue of the MBA program. So we are an MBA program. We have these portfolio programs that I think will grow in size and value over time. But if we look at our MBA program, we're really a program of specialists. We have, whether it be finance or marketing or healthcare or strategy or HOP, human organizational performance, leadership, real estate, operations, entrepreneurship, we give the students an opportunity to a deep dive into a program so they really come away with great skills and abilities, and that's what the employment market wants. They want people who are not just generalists, but who have the ability to be instantly at work. And that part of that is driven by the cost to them, the pricing of MBA students nowadays, and part of that is driven by a need to be lean, to be ready to work that these companies need so much and so much demand. And so we're trying to address that. The recruiters characterize our students as being competitive, which we all know, all of you are competitive. But scrappy, which I think means that they're innovative. They think on their feet. They react. They can create, and I think that's a great attribute. They're driven, and also they're collegial, and I think that's one of the things that really sets us apart. If I look at the strategy of the school, it's really kind of built around, and this is an ongoing process. We're still looking at this. The faculty are deeply engaged in this process right now, and hopefully we'll complete their overview here in the next couple of weeks. But if you look at our resources, that's how we built a strategy about what are the resources, what are the unique resources we have. And as I catalog those, I see certainly the alumni are critical to our success. What you do on a daily basis as you think about us. The great schools of North America, the Harvards and the Tucks, Harvard graduates hire Harvard graduates, Tuck graduates hire Tuck graduates, and that's the culture we have to build here. Certainly our faculty, and we have to continue to recruit great faculty. We have to have the ability to really kind of engage and make sure that the people that are here are really committed to what we're doing, and we're recruiting the brightest and the best that serve our needs. Certainly the Vanderbilt brand is critical. It's well known around the world, and we've hitched our start to that brand, and we really have had great success doing that. Obviously, the finance area is critical to kind of where we're going. Half of our graduates were finance majors. About 45% of our alumni are somehow in the finance areas or fields, or CEOs now, or running operations and relying on their finance training here. This is a healthcare community. You know that. We won't become just a healthcare school, but healthcare is critical to our future. And we have resources here that other universities and other programs don't have, and it's ours to take advantage of. And I'm pleased to say we're enhancing that engagement critically. And then finally, I think we have to think about our advisory boards and what you've done. I was just very pleased to watch this last week as Business Week moved. We moved dramatically in Business Week in the employment sector of that, saying how did the students do at graduation and 90 days out, and we moved up to 18th place just behind Wharton, ahead of a lot of schools, one of the ones that plays basketball over in North Carolina that you may know about. Glad to say that we're well ahead of them. So that's a great rise, and I think that's a tribute to our entire community, what the alumni did, what the advisory boards did in really working, and we have to continue to do that. It's something we'll focus on. As again, I look at the very close area of resource-based, one of the things we'll look at, and there are others, these are not an exhaustive list, but there are three big examples for you. One is certainly the vast world of finance and where our graduates have gone to. They're now running major organizations, they're CEOs, they're running geographic divisions for the major financial firms and banks of the world. We have great assets. They run exchanges, they do all kinds of things. And taking advantage of that wealth, that embedded brand, that opportunity to work with those organizations and the people that run them is critical to us. I mentioned healthcare. Obviously, Vanderbilt Medical Center and the greater healthcare community that we serve is a critical resource to us, and I'm very pleased at how we're engaging and acting to them, reacting to them. And then perhaps one we haven't thought of that is a new opportunity. You probably saw in the last day or two, you might have seen that Harvard has just started an incubator system in connection with an effort by the state of Massachusetts on an entrepreneurial effort. It's a good idea. I think we had it first. And watching what's going on in Tennessee, you'll see that the state and the community and the city and a lot of organizations from the Tennessee Technology Council to the Nashville Entrepreneurial Center to the Nashville Healthcare Center to the Nashville Capital Networks, to many, many organizations have started an effort in Tennessee. It's off and running, and we've been invited to participate with them in an entrepreneurial effort, and it's being run by one of our very own faculty. So I'm excited about that. That's kind of cool and an opportunity we have, and I think we need to take advantage of that. I'm going to focus on 5 elements. Those 5 elements very quickly are, number 1, maximizing the experience of the MBA learning opportunities that go on in this building. We have great professors. The students come here because often they get to sit at the feet of individuals who pave the way in a particular discipline or a particular area. We have the opportunity to use technologies that's never been used before in education, not just doing some distance-based learning piece, but also bringing into the classroom incredible speakers, incredible opportunities to dialogue with the thought leaders of the world. And then as a professor uses that in a classroom, we can do that live, we can do it in a lot of different ways. But to share, and part of the discussion with these deans that I just talked about was how do we share that? How do we create content? How do we use technology to the best of our advantage in a way that other schools can't? We also want to take and embed the immersion experience, and this is something that we already do. We do quite well, so there are immersion experiences in healthcare and marketing and finance in a number of areas. And what we're being asked to do by the students and by the recruiters, this is part of, let me understand what my life is going to be like post-graduation. Let me experience the reality of day-to-day business and do that in a setting of an experimental setting of a educational facility where I can make mistakes, I can understand, I can learn, I can see, and that's a demand being made. And so the idea is to embed that into the learning experience at Owen in a more robust way than we presently do. The second piece is to focus on 4 areas, and so these are under discussion, but these are 4 areas that I think we have a strong stakeholder place. One's finance. The experiences we have, the relationships we have, the connections we have, the financial research markets that are in place, the faculty that are there, all just absolutely lead to this is an opportunity for us to really focus on this area. Second is healthcare, and I've discussed that enough for you to know seriously that this is not to take over healthcare and become a healthcare school, but to really promote this. We are now, I think, the second or third largest placement of students in America's healthcare program. And I think we have a leadership role which we're going to continue to enhance and continue to move forward in a dynamic way, and I'm excited about that. It won't be just focus on delivery and services, but that's a big, big need, and also bringing down the cost, creating a safe environment, creating an affordable environment, and creating an exceptional experience where it's efficient also, as well as it's saving lives. Those are the kinds of things that we have to address in that program. So the next is marketing. We can't be a great MBA program unless we have a great marketing department, a great marketing area, and we have that now. I'm very, very excited about what they're doing. We're doing both quantitative and behavioral marketing. We have great connections back into the B2B and B2C world, both domestically and globally, and I think there's a real opportunity for us to take advantage of that, and we will. The next area is human organizational performance. That may be not a name you know. Maybe that wasn't a major here, but many of you will remember Tom Mahoney. He was kind of the author. He was kind of the beginner of that whole area, and we are one of 4 schools in the nation noted for that. We have an outstanding leadership program that has been cited best of class and is now being copied by some little schools like Rice and Kellogg, are looking exactly and trying to take the things that we've done first and put them inside their program. So I'm very proud of what's happening there. What that will need, obviously, is to continue to build out those faculty in these 4 key areas, and also to recruit great faculty in the areas that service those. So we'll continue to recruit great faculty in accounting and operations and all kinds of areas that are critical, that are key to the program. But those are the 4 we'll pay great concentration to. And then build the concept of accountability in what we do. What we do, we're going to do really well, and I think that's a commitment we all have to make. The next is one that I would encourage you to kind of think about, and that is what are the elements of a great school, and certainly and great graduates, and certainly it's the quality of the student body. That's what really brought me here. It's the homogeneity of intellect. It's bringing great, bright people who are full of energy and want to change the world and shape the world, if you would. And recruiting the best and the brightest is critical to what we do. Creating a great learning experience while they're here. What happens in the classroom, what happens in these emerging experiences is crucial. Having outstanding faculty. This is the academic reputation element of what we're about. And so continuing to build and to build and to build upon the faculty base that we've had and get those bright stars, those great individuals who can really think deeply and think forward about what education is to look like. Obviously, curriculum, faculty, and input is important, and then finally output. We have to have access to the employment community. We have to take our students to the world as well as the world to our students as we find and look for and find placement for them. And we think focusing on those 4 areas, thinking about these five efforts or these 5 elements will really build synergy around that. And all of that will frankly drive the ranking of the school. And we think that important. It's an important element just not only because you as alumni or you as the business community kind of look to that as a guideline for how's the school doing. It's a metric that we all have to pay attention to. Perhaps it's not a strategy, but it is a measurement of how we are graded. And that measurement, like in any business, whether it be your stock price or whether it be your earnings report or whether it be some other measure that you intrinsically use in the world measures you buy, we're the same way. And the university very much wants us to be measured in that particular way, and it's a constant conversation that we have. The 4th piece I want to talk about is really your experience as an alumni, your experience as a visitor to this community, really creating a robust opportunity, an engagement, a place where our alumni will return to, not only to partake in homecoming or to go to a dinner or to perhaps sit in a class or perhaps talk to our students, but a place where you come back to and be a place for you to renew yourself, for you to engage, for you to think about the latest business development, perhaps the latest economic equation that's ongoing and troubling the world, or a new opportunity in business, and to work together. And so this is an exciting opportunity. It's one that we will take both facilities and content to make work, but we're committed to doing it, and we think it will be a great place for you to be. It's also about engaging our alumni in different ways. Right now, about 20% of our alumni give to the university. About 30% somehow come in and partake of some of the elements I've talked about, but we want to have a much more exciting and robust place for you to be, and so that's the fourth. The fifth one is, frankly, something that we have to do. This is a longer-term project, but it's really the facilities we have. I think all of you know and what's here. This school has served us, this facility has served us very well, but we're not competitively ranked by our facilities. We don't have the kinds of learning environment, we don't have the kinds of technology, we don't have the space that we need to really have this robust, enhanced, incredible learning environment we need. We don't have the space for our faculty and for our research community to come together. We have outsourced many of the locations for key elements of our business community. We want to be a place where the business community of this city, this state, and this nation comes together for kinds of programs and consortiums and learning opportunities and attracting great minds to this university, and we have to have those spaces. So long term, it's something we have to do, but we have to begin that walk now, and I need your support and help. Looking at kind of required resources, if I would, right now we're very focused on scholarship. Many of you said, well, you know, giving away scholarships is not a sustainable tactic or strategy. I think if we have the right facilities, if we have the learning environment, if we have the kind of discipline that I'm talking about, I think that we will have, and we do now have, students who come here purely for the opportunity to learn from a particular faculty member or participate in a particular program or to be with others like them who they admire and trust and want to be educated with. But we have to have the kinds of resources, and right now we need about $4.5 million of additional resources in scholarship to be able to attract the kind of students we want. Right now we've committed this year, this coming academic year, almost $2 million in additional scholarship. We've gotten that money from hard work and also cutting some costs so that we can have the resources we need, but I need your help here, and I need the help of our alumni to do that and to step forward. We need to bring our annual giving up from about $1 million a year to about $3.5 million a year. If we did that, we would have the adequate resources we need. If I look at a timeline going forward, this is still a work in progress. It has taken a little longer than we wanted to do, and that's frankly getting all these different constituent groups, the students, the alumni, the faculty, the administration, all the elements that make us a part of the internal community and also the external community, the business world, in thinking about what we are and what we're doing. So the action steps that have already begun, which show here in the beginning in the first quarter of 2011, we're already implementing some of those. So the admissions strategy for these programs is well underway, and we're executing that now. We're thinking and visiting and looking at technology and what we might do. We're looking at opportunities across this university and talking to the university and also talking to the external world and saying what are the options and opportunities we have, what are the partnerships we can create. And we have faculty and others, staff going to distant locations to kind of look at how we might bring unique pieces into this university. So this is a plan that will begin execution, I hope, in the first quarter. It's already begun now, but it'll last across the next 2 to 3 to 5 years and to be execution complete. So accountability, doing what we do well, looking forward, here are the 5 elements. Remember those, they're critical to where we're going. And then I want to end, if I could, on a note about the tipping point. We had a huge discussion in July, and it carried forward in many, many different venues. Our faculty have talked about it, our students have talked about it. I've talked about it with many of you, with the alumni, with the Board of Visitors, others, about really what is the fundamental, unique, new change that will totally create a new business world, a new world of graduate education. And lots of ideas have been proffered. What really came to me, and I'm thinking about this deeply, is that as I go to business schools around the world and domestically, we all have the same issues. The meeting with these schools recently just proved that over and over again to me, that the MBA program is a very good educational piece. It's much copied. That's why there's so many of these programs in the world. But doing it really uniquely where we're recognized is partly about what we do internally, partly how we communicate that externally. But what the real tipping point is to put all these elements together, to execute them well, to be accountable, and that collectively will tip the teeter-totter over. That will collectively bring forward the tipping point that we're looking for. It's not one new thing, it's a lot of things doing those very, very well. I think back to Apple as an example to me, as a business example to me, and I watched Apple. I can remember having early Apples that didn't work very well and had not as much memory as my cell phone does today, but watching them go forward. And if you remember in the 90s, Apple really got in trouble. Steve Jobs had left, they brought in some other CEOs from other industries, their products were crappy, they weren't accomplishing anything, their market share was diving, their share price was diving. And today, if you look back, it wasn't just about Steve Jobs being a leader, it was about being focused on one thing, and that focus was their customer. They really, really began to think deeply about their customer experience and what that was and what was needed. And today, you know, they're the 1 in 5 computers are Apple computers. They're the second largest market cap company in the world. They really dived down. And their tipping point was really execution. It was really about bringing these elements together. And I think that's the challenge for us. So if we do this well, if we execute as we can, I think we will change the world, and I think we'll change our future. And I want to thank you for listening to this long update, but I hope you found it instructive, and I hope you'll continue to engage with us as we move forward and support this school as it needs supporting. Thank you. Earlier today, I created a message that I wanted you to listen to, and I wanted to follow on with a piece of news that we just learned. I was really excited that in a poll of the top 30 schools that Business Week had done, we placed 18th, had moved dramatically up, and that was measured on students who had received and taken job offers 90 days after graduation, and we shined. I might add that that's an objective measurement. That was an actually numerical poll, not a question of what do you think. The Business Week rankings that have just come out, we fell, and frankly, I always thought we would go the other way, given all the opportunities we have. But this is really a rallying cry. I think part of what's going on is that the economists noted that we were doing great in finance and marketing and healthcare, but they also gave us an award for supplying the most sectors, 11 different sectors of employment. And that sounds great, but we're not deep in any of them. And the schools that moved up in that rankings had a real concentration with major employers in major metropolitan areas, which we don't have. So it really calls upon us, I think, more than anything else, to focus. That's what that strategy is about, to dig down and focus on 4 unique areas and really go after them. I think it also says to us that we have to, as alumni, as individuals interested in this university, I'm calling on every one of you to hire 1 or 2 of our graduates this year. It's really important we do so, that we take the Harvard and the Tuck culture and say, if in my business and what I do, I'm going to come and recruit at Vanderbilt. I think we can dramatically change the environment if we will do so. And so I just wanted to get this news to you, let you understand why it happened, and the fact that we are very focused on making this a different game. And we'll be focusing on the U.S. News and World Report that will come out this spring. The data's already in, but I think we'll hopefully see us move dramatically in that one also. Thank you so much, and in a good way, I might add. Take care. Thanks.